There are some reports and news that comes out about silver that really are just no surprise, but is still very cool nonetheless. And that's what we're going to get into in this video, is the cool factor about silver production and about who is producing more than anyone else in the world today as we explore. There's a lot of silver coming out of one country in the world, more so than any other country on the other side of the world that's producing less than half of what this nation is. Silver, it's an amazing metal indeed. But it really wasn't until the discovery of the New World that we saw a lot more silver out there. And that, in a sense, changed everything for pretty much every precious metal that was in existence of the day. Mainly just gold. Yeah, it provided an alternative. That's what made silver the people's metal. Right now, when you think about silver, we think about it in coin or bar form. And these bars that you see here are contract size bars. And you can see they have varying different weights. They are, for all and practical purposes, 1,000-ounce bars. Some of them are a little bit more. Some of them are a little bit less. Some of them are notably less. More than 30 ounces less than 1,000 ounces. But still, nonetheless, it's remarkable to kind of see these bars kind of stacked up there. So who is producing the most silver out there? Well, according to this infographic, which was created from the Silver Institute, reporting, Mexico, again, no surprise, is producing the most silver in the world today. It's pretty amazing. I love these infographics that we see over at Visual Capitalist. From a variety of sources, this just gives you another way to visualize how much silver is being produced. And you can see that number one is Mexico at 202 million ounces done in 2023. And China is the second one, far behind, although that's the official reporting of how much they produce. I often wonder, considering the secrecy of China, if they're not producing even more than that. And then we've got others here that are far behind China even. So let's see if we can find number three. Well, not too far behind China, but still far behind Mexico, is Peru at number 3 at 107 million ounces. And then next is another Latin American country, Chile. And then after that is another Latin American country, Bolivia, at 43 million ounces. So the top 5, except for China, are really in this hemisphere. It's pretty amazing. And then number 6 is Poland. And honestly, if they start moving fast, Poland may move up very quickly on this list, because there's been some discoveries, as I pointed out in this on this channel, that there's a lot of silver reserves discovered in the ground in Poland. Now, as to the accuracy of that or what have you, but they feel fairly confident that there is a lot of silver down there. Number 7 is Russia. Really shouldn't surprise us a whole lot. And then the 8th largest is in Australia. I kind of thought that Australia may be a little higher in the list, but indeed it is not. And then we'll go and see if we can find the 9th largest. They're going to get harder to find here as they're smaller pieces of the pie, per se, here. And that is the United States of America. That's right. We're number 9, nowhere near the top levels there. But we do produce silver, and that's enough to meet the domestic demand for a lot of stuff we do use here. But and then the 10th is Argentina. So again, on this side of the world, Argentina is. And then we move on to number 11, and that's going to be India. That's right. India imports a lot of silver too. I actually am surprised they're that far up high on the list. And then, number 12 is Kazakhstan with 17 million ounces, and 13 is going to be that's Sweden. Sweden is number 13. I'm actually surprised they're anywhere on this list, but I've heard they also have gold reserves as well. And then Indonesia is number 14. And then 15, let's see if we can find it. Number 15 is going to be Morocco. It looks like Morocco. And that's pretty amazing. And then 16 is going to be the rest of the world. That's 71 million ounces for the rest of the world there. And so that's mixed around. It's a pretty fascinating indeed. And we look at what drives silver mining. It is mined mostly as a byproduct of other metals. Silver's use as a brazing alloy or solder, and within electronics has seen industrial demand grow consistently. Between 2022 and 2023, total industrial demand grew by 11%. One of the reasons behind the industrial growth is the critical role silver plays in solar photovoltaics. Consequently, demand for silver used in this technology has grown 64% between 2022 and 2023. Now, I will say here that EVs is another area that we've seen substantial growth. Even with the pullback of sales of EVs, electric vehicles, there is still a lot of silver used in battery technology for hybrid vehicles, which is increasing, offsetting that lack of demand and for EV batteries for pure electric vehicles. So despite its industrial growth, silver total production dipped slightly in 2023, but less than 1%. One potential reason for this dip is a considerable drop in demand for jewelry and silverware, 13% and 25% respectively. But industrial demand could outpace that, but we'll see here. So when we look at the numbers and the shares, we can see here all of these nations that we talked about and shown up there in that chart above. But it's crazy. And so fascinating indeed. A lot of demand for silver. Now, again, this has come from the World Silver Survey, which is a publication from the Silver Institute. And they have hired consultancy firm Metals Focus to do that research. And, of course, that's the one side that the Silver Institute has, and then they provide numbers that say that we've been in several years of a deficit. Another organization, CPM Group, says that we're not quite in a deficit yet, but it is getting much, much closer, and we could see it happening anytime soon. And so that is where we are at. And it's fascinating to see silver, indeed, as a metal. Most of us have silver in this form, and when we stack it in silver eagles, the American silver eagle is the most popular bullion coin on the planet, hands down, bar none. And we continue to see these coins being produced and easy to get with relatively low premiums these days, although the price of silver is up this year. In fact, it is up about 16-17% since the beginning of the year. Much of that growth has come in at around March. It's been somewhat of an exciting time to watch the markets move upward for silver. And as we continue to monitor the production of silver and the supply-demand fundamentals, well, that's going to have an impact on the price. But also, an impact on the price is going to be geopolitics, domestic politics. We can't ignore domestic politics and its role in silver's price movement to the upside. But nonetheless, what a thing it is. Silver is an amazing metal, and when you think about it, every piece of silver that you have in your stack, maybe a lot of it comes from Mexico. Pretty neat to think about. I think this is one of the reasons why I like the Mexican Libertad so much, is because we know it's coming from Mexico, and it's just something special about Mexican silver, considering its history and Mexico's history and the like. But what an amazing thing. And sometimes stories like this that are no surprise are just still neat to see. There's still a lot of silver being produced out there. And again, to remind folks that there's less and less primary silver mining going on. And notwithstanding, production has not fallen off by a whole lot, because silver being mined as a byproduct of other metals means that it is being mined more economically. It costs much less to mine silver as a byproduct of other metals than it is as a primary silver mine. And what is a primary silver mine? Primary silver mine means that over 51% of its production is producing silver. That is what it accounts for, which means that it is its main focus. And other metals are mined. Usually, most silver mines also produce gold and other metals as well. They're diverse in that way, but the vast majority is base metal mining, like lead, zinc, and other metals, and gold even. And silver is a byproduct, which means it's just a bonus. It's just a bonus. And I think that's one of the reasons why they've gotten so efficient with silver mining that they can produce they can produce it efficiently as a byproduct, and it helps their bottom line, some of these mines. So that's kind of fascinating to see that kind of movement with the silver mine there. And one other thing about silver that I find quite fascinating is the new reserves they're finding out there, and how silver is recycled as well too. Silver never ever goes away, folks. That's just like gold. It's an amazing metal. It may tarnish, but it'll never go away. I don't care if you stick 5 of these bars in a Tomahawk cruise missile, as some say, and you drop that missile down on somewhere, that silver does not disappear. Even with the power of that missile, even if you pack it in a thermonuclear warhead, it will never ever disappear. It'll dissipate. It'll essentially go into the ground or be embedded into the ground or what have you, and then it just can be mined right back out again in due course. Now, it's much easier to just mine it out, as far as, getting it and recycling it from a landfill and the like. There are easy ways to do it. There are hard ways to do it. If it's from a thermonuclear weapon, well, you got radiation you got to deal with and the like. But let's take a conventional piece like a bunker buster or what have you. It can be mined, and mined much easier than you can out of the ground. So keep that in mind. But silver, an amazing metal indeed, and a lot of it comes from Mexico. So I hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude, that means a lot, of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.